Okay, so here's question number 2 from the core activity. It says, use algebraic properties to solve the equation 3 times the quantity of x plus 2 plus x equals 16. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and solve this. As I'm looking at this, I'm thinking the first thing I need to do is to distribute this 3. Okay, I need to distribute the 3 to this x right here. So 3 times x is 3x, and then 3 times plus 2 is a plus 6, and then we have this plus x and equals 16. The only thing I did was distribute this 3 into everything inside the parentheses. Everything else stayed the same. Okay, so remember, our goal is to isolate the x, to have the x all by itself. Well, I've got this big chocolate mess right here, so I need to clear some things up. So I have 3x plus x. Okay, I'm going to combine like terms. I can do that. 3x plus x is 4x. And then plus 6. Okay. So all I did was combine these two. Equals 16. Okay, again, my goal is to get this by itself, and I have multiply by 4, and I have a plus 6 here. I need to get rid of this plus 6. How do we get rid of plus 6? Well, we need to, what would be the opposite of plus 6? That's right, minus 6. So I'm going to subtract 6 on both sides. This is called subtraction property of equality. Now my next step is I'm going to just go ahead and simplify this. I'm going to go ahead and write 4x. 6 and a negative 6 is 0. I could put plus 0 here, but 4x plus 0 is just 4x. That's kind of pointless to write. 16 minus 6 is 10. Okay, one last step here. I need to get rid of this multiply by 4. How do I get rid of multiply by 4? I want you guys to be thinking about that. And I hope you guys are saying divide by 4. What I do to one side, I need to do to the other side to keep my equation balanced. Okay, so 4 divided by 4 is 1. And then I have 1 times x. That is just x. Okay, 4 divided by 4 is 1. Now, there's one thing I can do to this. I have 10 divided by 4. I can make this a little more simple. Okay, I can divide both of these by 2. So what I'm going to do is divide by a certain type of 1, because anything divided by 1 is still that, it still has the same value. Okay, if you have 8, you divide that by 1, you still have 8. The value does not change. Okay, so I am going to divide this by 1, but a certain type of 1. Since I can divide the top and the bottom by 2, I'm going to divide by 2 over 2. Okay, this right here equals 1. Okay, so I'm not changing the value, I'm just making it look a little different. Okay, so I'm dividing by a certain type of 1, 2 over 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so 10 divided by 2 is 5. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that is my final answer for number 2. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 3. Again, it says use algebraic operations to solve the equation. Let's take a look. We've got 8 minus 3y equals 7y minus 2 minus 5y. Okay, and the whole goal is to get y by itself. Again, this looks kind of messy. We're going to clean it up and get y all by itself. We're going to isolate y. So the first thing I am looking at, can't really do anything here. Let's take a look at this side. We've got 7y. We've got 7y and minus 5y. I can work with that. 7y minus 5y is 2y. So I'm going to go ahead and write 2y. And then I'm just going to bring this minus 2 down. Okay, so the only thing I did was I combined 7y with minus 5y. That's the only thing that changed. Everything else is going to stay the same. Now I'm looking at this and I need to add or combine my like terms, but they're on different sides of the equation. Now, typically what I like to do is like to look at the variable. Okay, I have the coefficients of the variables. I have a -3 here and a 2 here. Okay, I like to move the smaller one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move this -3. And typically it's easier if you move the smaller one. For example, if I want this pen on my couch, would it be easier for me to move my pen and put it on the couch, or should I bring the couch over to me and set my pen on? It would be easier to move the smaller object, right? So the same thing here. This -3y, that is the smaller coefficient. So I'm going to move that one. So what I'm going to do is, what's the opposite of -3y? Or what is the inverse? It is +3y. Okay, now remember, to keep the equation balanced, we have to do the same thing to the other side. Got to keep that equation balanced. Okay, so 8 comes down, and then -3y plus 3y, well, that's just 0, and 8 plus 0 is just 8. I'm going to bring down my equal sign. Now I've got 2y plus 3y. Add those together, we get 5y, and don't forget about this -2. So we got 5y minus 2. So here's the y. We still have multiplied by 5, and we have this -2. Our next step is we need to get rid of this -2. How do you get rid of -2? Well, we need to add 2. Okay, and what we do to one side of the equation, have to do to the other side. Keep that equation balanced. So on this side, I have 8 plus 2, that's 10. Bring down my equal sign. Bring down the 5y. And -2 and plus 2, that's 0. Okay, we don't need to write plus 0. 0 is the same thing as nothing, so I'm going to use nothing. One more step here. We have a multiply by 5. You guys should be thinking in your head, oh, I need to. That's correct. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. Looks like I'm running out of room here. But 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times y is y. I'll actually write it over here a little bit. And on this side, I have 10 divided by 5, which is just 2. So this is your final answer. Y equals 2. Let's take a look at number 4. Use algebraic operations to solve the equation. Okay, so we want to get k all by itself. And k is all over the place. We've got numbers all over the place. Let's clean this up. So I'm looking at this side here. First thing I need to do, what do you guys think? I want you guys to be thinking about this. Just looking at this side here. First thing we should do is distribute this 4. So I have to go 4 times k, which is 4k. And then 4 times -3, which is -12. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put this plus 7 equals. So the only thing I did here was distributed the 4. That's it. Plus 7 stays the same. Equals. Well, I've got 2k. And I have to distribute this negative sign. Okay, I kind of like to think of this as it flips the signs of everything in here. Okay, there is a 1 here, so you could think of it as -1 times k, and then -1 times +8. Okay, I like to just think of just flip the signs to each one. So here's negative times a k times a positive k, which equals a negative k. Okay, so negative times k is negative k. And then negative times a positive 8 is, it's going to flip this sign, so it's going to be negative 8. Okay, take a look at that again. Negative times k is negative k. Negative times a positive 8 is a negative 8. Okay, so we cleared it up. We cleared this equation up a little bit. Let's take a look down here. What can we clear up here? We've got 4k minus 12 plus 7. Well, I can combine these two terms. Negative 12 plus 7. What does that equal? Okay, I hope you guys said negative 5. And I'm going to bring down this 4k. I'm going to bring down the equal sign. Okay, and then on this side, I have 2k minus k. Well, if I have 2k's and I take away a k, well, then I only have 1k. And 1 times k is just k. So I combine these two terms, and I'm going to bring down the minus 8. So now I still have k's on both sides. Now remember, on the last problem, we moved the smaller coefficient, okay? So here, this is a 1k. Over here, this is a 4k. I need to move this k over, okay? I need to get rid of this one. So what I'm going to do is subtract k, because this is a positive k. How do I get rid of positive k? With a negative k. And what I do to one side, you do to the other. Got to keep that equation balanced. So on this side, we have 4k minus k. Well, that's 3k. Bring down this minus 5. Bring down the equal sign. K minus k is nothing. And then nothing minus 8 is negative 8. So it looks a lot cleaner now. We're almost there. We've got two things to deal with, this negative 5 and this 3k. How do we get rid of minus 5? Okay, you guys should be thinking ahead of me. That's right, with a plus, that's terrible. Plus 5. Keep the equation balanced. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Okay, so we're going to bring down the 3k. Negative 5 and positive 5, well, that cancels out. That's 0. Equals negative 8 plus 5 is a negative 3. One last step. I'm going to go ahead and write this over here. I've got 3k equals negative 3. All right, so last thing, we have this multiply by 3. How do we get rid of multiply by 3? That's right, we have to divide by 3. So we're going to use division property of equality, meaning I have to divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times k is k. Negative 3 divided by 3 is a negative 1. And that concludes our core activity.